Hey everyone, welcome back, and today we'll be doing another Leetcode 496 next greater element 1, an easy one, the next greater element of some element x in an array, the first greater element that is to the right of the x in the same array. You are given two distinct zero index integer arrays nums1 and nums2, where num1 is the subset of nums2, and if there is no next element greater, then the answer of that query is -1. Return an array that has the length of nums1 such that the answer at I is greater than the element as described above. So we have two arrays basically. So one, we'll be taking the example 1, and the second one is 1 3 4 2, and we have to return an array. So in our first list we have 4 1 2, second 1 3 4 2. We'll be using a helper list in which we will have a greater elements starting from the very first from nums2. So 1 has a greater element next to it, which is 3, which 3 has 4. 4 does not have a greater element to the next, so we'll be adding -1 as they told us to. If there is no greater element and 2 does not have also, so we'll be doing this. So now what we want to do is find the index of 4 uh, in our nums2, and at that index we want to see what is present in our result. You can say this will be our result and this will be our output. Okay, so that's it. And at 4 we have uh, 4 has the index 2, and at 2 we have -1. We'll be adding it to our output. So what is present at 1? 1 is at 0th index, or at 0th index in result we will have 3. And where is 2 present in the list 2, list nums2, and 2 is present at the very last, so we'll be adding, this was -1, and we'll be adding -1 at the very end. So that's it, and this is how our output looks. So that's it. Let's make another function which will be next greater element, and we'll be passing it nums2 and list of int will be returning list of int, and that's it. But now let's call it also like result is equal to nge and passing it our nums2, and this is it. Okay, so first of all we will be using us making a stack, and using a stack we'll be making our result list. And now for I in range we will use the length of nums2, because obviously we are working on nums2. This function will just return us the version that was like 3 4. I removed it, but if you can recall it, it was just a bit earlier. This is, we are doing this in this function. So just taking the next value and next greater value like its name. So now we have this, and now we want to do -1, and to go -1, and we'll be taking -1 step at each time. So if there is a stack present, not if but while there is a stack present and the nums2 value at I, if it is greater than stack peak, we can just stack pop because we do not need that value. And now if stack is empty, we will just append our result with -1, and stack dot append stack with our nums2, and that's it. Nums2, not nums2 at I. Okay, so now in the else case we have our stack, so we will append it by stack peak, and at stack we will just add the value stack dot append and nums2 at I. Okay, we are done. Now we can just return the result with obviously just reversing it, and like this is going here, and now we'll be making a map for the indices. And to do that we will just use nums2, because obviously we want to take the indices from nums2. So nums2 at I, and we just want the indices. So for I, for I in range of length of nums2, and that's it. And let's just okay, so we'll be making our output list that is like this. So for every character, so for every element in nums1, because we are just using the num1 and seeing where that number is present in nums2, and then using that index to fetch the value from result, and that's it. So we'll be using an index in which we'll be storing the index from map I not 9 I, and we can just dot result output dot append, and we'll be using result and using that index, and that's it. We can just return output after all of this, and let's see if this works or not. Yeah, this works, and that's it. And that's it. So let's take the examples now again, like nums1. So for better clarification, so num1 was 4 1 2, and nums2 is 1 3 4 2. Okay, so what we did was just make a stack, okay, and a result which is empty by default. So it is like this. Let me just remove it, or okay, let's just make it through this. And uh, from the starting we'll be starting from the very end, so we'll be taking 2. We'll be seeing that there is not a stack and all of this, so we will use just append -1 to our result, because that is our condition, like if there is not a stack like this, and add that value to our result, and add that value to our stack. And in the next iteration we'll be taking 4 is greater, so what we'll be doing is just stack pop, and now the stack is empty. What we'll be doing is just adding another -1 to the very end, and appending the value 4 in our stack, not here, in our stack. For the next iteration we'll be taking 3 from nums2, and we'll be seeing that it is less, so what we'll be doing is just stack peeking, not popping, but taking a peek and adding 4 here. 4 is still there, we are not going to pop it, and that's it, like just appending 3 here. And now it is done for 1, and we'll be doing the same process again, and just stack peeking and adding it to our result, and in stack we'll be adding 1. So we have things like this done. What we'll be doing is just reversing and returning the result. So result is reversed, like now it is 4 3 4 -1 and -1. Okay, so stack is done, and this result is done. Yes, this result is done, and stack is gone. We are done with this function, like okay. Now we'll be making a map. So basically it is like map. Yes, map, and map will have the but from nums1. So the one will be just holding the index. One will be the key, and the index, it is a very simple map. So one will be at 0, 3 will be at 1, and 4 will be at 2, and 2 will be at 3. Yes, it is. That 2 is at 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Yes, it is it. And now we have our output list like this, and for every element, like where is 4 in our nums2, just for the index sake. So we'll be taking the 4 and seeing what is the index of 4. Index of 4 in nums2 was 2, so we'll be taking the same index from result and fetching the value that will be -1. -1 is presented at 2. What will be the index of 1? The index of 1 is 0. Result at 0 is 3. We'll be appending it by 3. And now we have 2. What is the index of 2? 2 is 3, and at 3 we are having -1, and we are going to just append it to our output. And this was it, and that was the whole explanation. If you have any kind of questions, you can just ask them in the comments. And see ya.